take it away.
All right. Well, hello there. My name is Christopher Spataro. I'm the new judge of Elkhart Superior Court number 5. I've been on the bench since January 1st of 2021.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and the reason we have you is because we want to talk to you about the VORP process and VORP clients that you've sent us through your court. So as you think about some of the cases and the clients that you've had come through the VORP process that have gone in front of your court when you're on the bench, how do you think the VORP process helps hold offenders accountable while also giving them the opportunity to make things right with those they've harmed?
Yeah, well, I think that most people want to do the right thing and feel better about themselves when they do the right thing. And I think that most people want to have the right thing done unto them. And I think that VORP gives our offenders the opportunity to do the right thing and to have a third party reminding them that it does feel good when they are held accountable and they do what's right.
Okay, so it gives them the opportunity to have ownership of doing things right. Okay. How do you think it helps victims in their healing in that process?
Yeah, I think many victims just want to be heard. They want others to recognize that they have been harmed, that they've been hurt, and that someone caused that pain. They also want to let the person who caused the pain know what they did, perhaps so it doesn't get done to other people. I have seen victims who have spoken up at sentencing hearings. For example, when the father of a little girl who was injured in a drunk driving accident got the opportunity to tell the defendant in a criminal case that your actions really hurt my family. And I'm sure that as hard as that was for that father, it felt good to get it off his chest. And I'm sure that it was impactful for the defendant and perhaps would influence him not to take those inappropriate actions again in the future.
Sure. And how do you think that the Center for Community Justice helps create sort of a sense of justice that folks might not get while they're in the court?
Sure. So my court, Superior 5, handles a good number of small claims. It also handles a good number of misdemeanor criminal matters. And I see CCJ involved in both. On my civil day, there is often someone watching the initial hearings. And when I see that there's a case that maybe isn't one that can be agreed upon on the spot and isn't one that necessarily needs to get set for a future trial, I can often ask the parties if they would be willing to mediate with our free CCJ mediators through some generous grants. And I would say each week on average, I might send 1 or 2 to CCJ, and it's a good way of getting resolution and closure without waiting for perhaps a trial date 2 or 3 days, months down the line. Sure. And on the criminal side, I see a good number of sentencing orders will have a VORP requirement, particularly when there's a victim crime and someone wants to be heard or makes a claim for restitution, and we provide the avenue for that.
Okay, great. Having said that, when we get the VORP cases, they don't always end up meeting the other person, right? You spoke at the beginning about how it is important for people to meet. Sometimes people don't want to meet, and we respect that. But is there anything that you would say to maybe encourage participation for folks that are maybe on the fence about whether or not it's a good process?
Sure. I would think that at least in some cases, years down the line, there might be a victim who would regret foregoing the opportunity to confront their offender. I could just envision someone saying, I really wish that I would have looked that person in the eye or spoke my mind when I had the opportunity. So I think that if there is a third party, such as a good entity like CCJ, to encourage them to think about how they might not get this opportunity down the line and how they should take advantage of it while it is there, I think that's a valuable tool.
Thank you. Yeah, is there just anything else you'd like to add about CCJ and the role you see restorative justice and us playing in the Elkhart community?
Sure. Well, I first want to thank CCJ for reaching out to me after my election. They knew that I'd be taking the bench and that I would be in a court where the services would likely be needed. So they reached out and we had some good discussions. And I just think that sometimes we have really good assets in our community that aren't well known. And the more people can be aware of the good services of CCJ, I think the more peace and resolution we will have.
All right. That's a great note to end on. Thank you.